in here. Sound during this one? Yeah, it looks like it. Get that one. Shield mode. Interesting. Oh, wrong one. There we go. All right, good morning, folks. We're back. We made it. Kind of, sort of, a little bit. We're going to get through it. Let's see here. I do need to shuffle around a few more things. We'll be ready. I suspect anybody who would be watching at this point probably has seen me before, so I will spare the long intro. For folks that have been watching in the last few days, though, you might know that my computer has been having some issues, so we are currently up and running on a backup computer here. Partially this stream is to work on stuff, and partially the stream is to make sure the backup computer's good and get it set up the rest of the way to do stuff I need to do in order to work on CircuitPython at least. Yeah, we should be set. It looks in OBS like I've got sound going to there, so hopefully that's making it out. If anybody is actually watching and the sound is okay, I would appreciate if you can drop in the chat and let me know. Otherwise, we'll just hang on for a bit, and I'm sure if it is messed up, then eventually somebody will tell me that it's messed up. But it looks like we've got sound at least going to OBS, so it should be going out. Okay. And so one thing you'll see is that we're at basically a blank PyCharm. I have made a new device workspace. It has this boilerplate thing that PyCharm creates for you, but that's it. We don't have anything else yet. So that's part of what I'm going to be doing here, is getting set back up, at least similarly to how we were. The first step into that, for folks that haven't seen it before, is we want to... What do we want to do? I'm going to refer to the Learn guide that I wrote about it, actually. It's like... we want to add it as a separate directory or something. I should make that start on the blank page. So yeah, sorry. Today will be a few... I will be going off on a few tangents here to change settings and potentially install stuff, do stuff, set stuff up. Where is the one that says what happens when you open a new tab? Is it just on the new tab? Settings? Yeah. Home, new windows and tabs. Okay, that's fine. Search box is nice. I need the rest of that stuff. Where's this at? This is at, I think, welcome, maybe? Welcome to CircuitPython? PyCharm? Yeah, okay, we'll have to do all of this stuff actually. Disable autosave, so that's in appearance and behavior. It's here, and then, was it system settings? Well, tab doesn't want to go for some reason. Interesting. It will go in, but then not back. Because this is open? Yeah, I guess technically that's like a special pop-up or whatever system, I guess, or something. Doesn't let you alt-tab out of it for some reason. But you can click out of it. That doesn't make any... Anyway, whatever. We already made a project. Add content root. That's what I want to do. Project structure, add content root. Where's project structure? That is in these settings also, actually. But it's under here. This. Add content root. We want to find media. MC. We want to make it, I guess, content root. I guess content root is what it wants to be. We want to make sure it's not one of these. Do we? Maybe we don't. Does it matter? It's not add content root. Okay, yeah, I think that's all. And then if I were on computer with an extra drive connected, I would want to exclude that drive if it would show up in the same place here. Because it's not part of our code. We basically, what we want is for all the CircuitPython devices that get connected to show up. This will allow that to happen. Anytime we plug one in, it'll show up in this folder as CircuitPy or CircuitPy 1, 2, 3, whatever. Or if it's been like renamed in the core or something, it'll show up as that. So close this. Probably delete this, but it doesn't really matter. This is my Feather TFT. Since we're on a brand new computer, we don't have any of the backups that I had before. I'm actually going to start by just copy pasting a backup of it. And first, let's follow the rest of this actually before we get going too more far. CircuitPython stubs, we do want. So did this make a VM or no? Okay. Add new interpreter. Okay, yeah, we're just on base. I don't really want a VM for this. I'm gonna try using VMs for projects. Tried it in the past and always walked away from it, changing back to preferring to do stuff in the base Python environment when I can. I'm gonna give it another go. I know it's recommended, so I'll give it another go with projects. This doesn't really feel like a project though, right? Device workspace, it's mostly a way to see all these CircuitPy drives. It has a folder on the computer, which I guess is technically a project. I suppose I could put a VM inside of there. Maybe that would be more correct, but I'm not gonna. We're gonna install it into here. We want to go plus. How's it going, DJ Devin? Good morning. CircuitPython stubs. We should be able to find it in here like that. This will be nice too. I had not actually updated the stubs for a while on the old computer, so there was stuff that I knew was different. Not exactly. Better enough to work on this one. This one's a backup PC, so part of today is getting it kind of set back up for stuff. It started fresh yesterday, so I got some of the stuff knocked out yesterday, like getting a few things installed and Git and loaded up. I basically went through the process of making a build of CircuitPython, so I got all the prereqs for all of that, but not much else yesterday, so doing a bit more of the setup today, and then I'll just be working on this computer until I get the other one back to working. Or if I don't get the other one back to working with its like drive and content and stuff intact, then eventually I will start fresh on the other computer. I'm hopeful though that I'll be able to get all like keep using the instance of the OS that I started on. Like I'm pretty certain that that's still in there. Didn't I have similar issues on this one too? So this is a backup. This is like a totally different backup PC altogether. This one is not just a separate drive in the other computer. This is like totally different computer at this point. That I basically just set up yesterday for using as a backup. The other computer is still here. It's currently in a state of it won't boot fully into what I consider my main regular OS instance, the instance that I've been using recently, essentially. It won't boot into that. It needs to be repaired to get it to boot into that. I don't think it's wiped. I think it's still in there. It just doesn't want to boot to it. I do have an extra drive, which also has a clean instance of the OS, which does go in that other computer. But that one was meant to be just a tester. It's kind of a throwaway thing. It was meant to be just a tester. Unfortunately, I bungled up the main drive while I was using it somehow. This is not the old computer that uses Pop! OS. Nope. The laptop, I will call that one. That one is around as well, and I can pull it out in a pinch if I need to. But this is a separate desktop that I have set up as a backup. So the Pop! OS laptop is still around. It helped me get this one set up, which was nice. It helped me do some of the troubleshooting on the other one. But I wanted to set up a separate desktop as a backup as well, just so that I was not like fully, completely relying on that laptop as my only machine for both like work and CircuitPython and playing games and doing everything. Like all of my jobs involved the computer, so like honestly, it was probably a good exercise to get a backup that can be used to do all of my jobs set up anyway. An extra backup even beyond the laptop. The laptop is nice because I can take it around town and stuff and do everything I need, but it's nice to have a station desktop here as well that's like complete lifesaver in the case of catastrophe. Good luck with the new one. Yep, thank you. Yep. So first, right. Okay, we got stubs. What else is there? Is that it? Libraries? Libraries we'll just do one at a time. Serial console. We do need TO, actually. How do you get TO? Does it say how to get TO? Oh. Fortunately, that's part of documentation, which means, and installation and questions. That's part of like every word. Let's not say how to get it. I think we should just do this probably. install. I think I want to get Starship again also. I do actually kind of like this thing. I had actually removed this. Okay, well. I actually removed this a week or so ago. I actually removed it and then put it back and then removed it again. Trying to rule it out as causing trouble that we were seeing with the CircuitPython builds. Should I do this in the terminal? I don't think it actually matters if I do it in PyCharm or not. It's another thing. Actually, I want to make the size of this bigger. What? I have to make a new profile in order to be able to change any of this stuff. Still not. Oh, custom font. I think that changed. Might have to restart. Maybe I created the profile but didn't set myself to it. Yeah. How do you select it? As default. Doesn't seem to be changing the size. Yeah, that's true. I mean, all the customizations, honestly, everything is kind of a lot. But honestly, though, it being the like third or fourth time I've done it now, I actually got through a lot of it fairly quickly. I was surprised at how fast I went from totally empty drive to like does a decent amount of the stuff I want it to, how I want it to. Even things which I kind of take for granted after I start using them, like the system bar up here is actually not stock. This is like a plugin for GNOME or something. The way I switch audio devices in here, this is not stock. It's also like a plugin. I added UTC clock. This is also a plugin. I was not using this before, but I put it on this one. A nice little UTC time up there. Ooh. I think I copied that with an enter, but it didn't actually run, which is interesting because I think on the other computer it was running. If I would copy an enter into the terminal, I think it would actually execute. What is all this? Oh, right, I need to do this part too. Add this to your bash. The old, I should put this at the end, I guess, right? The old Python alias there. What's the path for the compiler? There we go. Got the Starship prompt. So TO, that was the next thing we were after. Where do you install this? Why is install not the first thing? Usage? Install it. This page. tar.gz. Is it on apt? Oh my gosh. I hate when it does this. It's like a million things. It's the same problem we had on the Learn Guide page, I bet you. It's like part of every word. All right, how do you do exact? Apt, exact, search. Starship sounds cool. We'll name no matter what it does. It's pretty nice. I like it mostly for giving you, I mean, it shortens the prompt here, which is nice. It does, it shortens and hides parts of the path, which I find nice, especially because I have this giant font size. So if I'm deep in a project directory somewhere, then the path tends to be really, really long, whereas this hides like a lot of the relevant parts from you. It also adds icons that tells you like what kind of project it is, what Git branch you're on, which I find especially helpful. Gives you information about your Git current state on the prompt. I actually got it mostly because of a similar one that Scott uses. His is not Starship. I forget the name of his, but he was talking about it one day. And the main thing it does that's the same is the Git status. It shows you your branch and your current status and stuff. And then somebody in the chat recommended this Starship one, and I tried them both out, and I liked the Starship one a bit more. Go up caret, ampersand. No, $sign. Because of course we do. Okay, it is in there. So that's 132. Is that, there's a 2.5. Should we try to get the latest one? What about, like, is there a website for it? Snap Store? I thought I remembered like a basic like website. Sponsor this project? I should pay this person. Pay the people who work on this project. Maybe this is the page I'm thinking of. Nope, that just brought me back to here. Why is there a link back to here? Maybe they used to have a different page. I mean, it's definitely a different address. Installation. It is stable version from Snap. I don't know why I can't see what I'm highlighting. That kind of bothers me. Stuff from this. This page is dark anyway, though. No. I like that. In here? No. Not stuff on this one either. Firefox only. Oops. What did this come back with? Version 2.5. Okay. Funny. Catch up over here. Tech trick. Had to reinstall Linux after a failed backup attempt. Was surprised how quickly I got things back up to speed. Yeah, it felt daunting the last few times I did it, but yeah, this time I was actually surprised by how quick it went, just because of how much stuff was actually customized, but got it up and running pretty fast. Nice. That's when the TO dev came into our chat, worked on some issues. Oh, funny how for today's computer starship sounds like a neat thing, but anything enterprise just means probably costs a lot. As far as I know, it's free. I don't even know that they have a, do they have a paid one? It's another thing I would throw a couple bucks at if they have a way to do it. Because I definitely find it as a nice productivity tool. Still haven't heard if they got in touch with MySys for WSL. Oh, yeah, they don't even have like a... They don't even have like a way to pay for it, which is interesting. Don't have any kind of about or anything either. They have GitHub sponsors though. Do that. Maybe? Yeah. Wait. Maybe? Yeah. Oh. My guess is that is like dial out group, right? Dial out group is what I had on the sticky note for the longest time. The 3D printer computer to make it be able to see stuff that's plugged in through USB. User mod AG dial out. A shout AG dial out. I don't know if I need to like do anything else. Open T2I device, permission denied. Wonder if I need to restart or something? Can you slipstream a lot of this and keep a running PopOS customized backup? Possibly? That would be kind of nice if I could, yeah, just like duplicate the state that I'm in right now. Throw it on a backup. I don't know exactly how to do that, but I suspect I probably could. The group wasn't found, or if you still get an error. Are we like, it's definitely ACM 0? Yeah. Yeah. has dial out, but you need to log out and back in again. Hmm. TTY? Maybe we should have TTY. This does still say reboot though. Did I do sudo? Yeah. Well, I probably have to try. I pretty much have to try rebooting real quick, which is definitely going to cut out the stream. Because yeah, I definitely need to be able to get the serial console. If I had to redo my entire OS 24 hours later, I'd still be installing programs, Windows updates, let alone streaming. Sure, the first time you set up your PC, specifically avoided having to reboot anything during the stream. Yeah, was one answer on Stack Overflow. Let's see if there's like. Will I log in again? SU yourself. Nice. I need to, first of all, I need to log in, I guess. Maybe I already uploaded, or maybe I already upvoted this. Nope, we are now. Thank you. I don't know if that was the same one I found before, but that did in fact work. Okay, so the actual first thing I want to look at, 45 minutes later-ish, if environment set up on the new Linux box. Nice. Yeah, I could. You know what I should do is go back through there and see if there's anything I'm missing, although it'll come up like as I get into stuff, I think. I think this is probably waiting on me. Yeah. Couple weeks. Took me a minute to get back to it, unfortunately, but here we are at least. going to use a separate terminal. This backup computer started with Windows on it. It's the first time I've used Windows in a very long time. I basically used Windows long enough to make a Ubuntu USB, and then I took the Windows drive out, set it aside. New space. See, that's the thing though, right? Like, I really don't want a virtual environment for every CircuitPython library. That seems extreme. Like, I guess I could make one VM for CircuitPython libraries generally, but even that I don't really want to do. I guess I could. Said I would. I don't really think of them. I mean, I think of them individually as projects, but I definitely don't want one per. Just gonna cancel for now. I'm gonna go base interpreter. Oh, you know what I need is GH. How do you install it? Why is that? It's like hidden. It's like so slight and small and like gray. Why do they not make that stand out more, I wonder? What does that mean? Use apt? What? I don't remember having to do this keyring thing. Is that really a thing we need to do? I could get this? Or actually, that's the wrong one. This one. I think I probably did it this way, maybe. I don't think I did that keyring thing. I have noticed every time I install a deb file, it prints this, but it seems to work anyway, so I don't know what that's all about. Yeah. Go with 3-factor here, except 2 of the factors are the same factor. Oh, that's not enough digits. Wait, what? It says 8 digits. What? I don't find anything. What is a user code? Also, why is there no back button or anything? Well, that was annoying. But now I'm logged in, even though I didn't give you the magical code thing. Fascinating. Okay. About over here. Let's try not to load it. No, still didn't work. New plan. Sorry, can't put much of anything on the screen because it's showing two-factor codes and password stars and all kinds of stuff. There you go. We get to go create another, again, 11 billionth token of infinity. I've created so many tokens, because it will not let you access the tokens after you create them. I mean, I don't remember what the exact right things are. GH auth login GitHub that credentials token. Oh, of course it prints now. Oh well. I did all of those. I thought there was one more. Okay. Show anything here? So, okay. There we are. Okay, so what was the deal with this one? I think it was something with one of the ones in the example. It was double. I don't really want these, I don't think. Oh, I don't. I don't know how to close that. When in doubt, click the same thing again, I guess. Didn't I hide those last time? I mean, if it was like 1 or whatever, like in a spot or 2 is not bad, but like this is on every function. I don't need that. Right-clicking on the name in the editor. Usages, I think I might like, actually. I'm so used to doing control-click to get to it, actually, but not having to do control actually does seem kind of nice. Although it doesn't work for every, well, oh, okay, this one has no usages, I see. If I recall correctly, one of these had like, okay, it does, yeah. Maybe there was something wrong before, we'll have to test again. I'm pretty sure I tried it and it didn't work. Maybe I didn't actually understand how it was supposed to work, though. Maybe I tried it wrong. That's what they said. And then I have 2 routes. Yeah. We got response from this. Action timed out from the other one. Action defaulting to none. Oh, okay. Maybe it didn't do anything. Or, well, it did something that was not return an HTTP response. So then from the browser's perspective, the client's perspective, it didn't do anything. Should not just have this screen chilling here. It's covering up the chat, and also it's got a lot of stuff we don't want to show. Actually, not that much, which is good, but definitely something. Let me catch up over here as well. 2-factor not working, is saying it's running in a sandbox. No, it worked, sort of. It was like, I don't know what it was doing. It gave me a number on the computer that I then needed to click a thing and type in on my phone, and then it turned around and on the computer asked for a number that I think the phone was supposed to show me, but it didn't, because honestly the phone GitHub app I think is kind of wonky. I didn't really realize it was going to become an integral part of 2-factor when I installed it. Otherwise, I probably might maybe have not installed it, actually, because I would rather just use the 2-factor app and not the GitHub app. But it has its own special thing where it's trying to pop up stuff and like 2-factor you. It was being weird. We got it, though, eventually. More tokens than developer accounts. GitHub in particular, yeah. GitHub I find bad because of the way you can't... You know, I see why they did it, but I don't prefer the way they did it, that you can't access your tokens anymore after you create them, because then your choices are like make a new one every time you need one for anything, or save it somewhere. Neither of which are great options. Like, save it somewhere already exists. It's saved inside their system. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it would be fine for them to let you see it as long as you're properly authenticated and all that stuff. But they decided not. Be nice if the user could decide, maybe. Oh, should we keep this one? Probably we have this. Is this different? A little bit. Why don't we just update it? The way Steam lock things down on the developer side is impressive without OAuth. Single API key is all that's needed. Super simple. Yeah. I do like the easier just include your token in the request APIs more so than the OAuth of like make this request and then get this thing and then save it and then make that request and use that thing and get the other thing. It's to be kind of convoluted. Let's see. Let me get back to here. We want to get back to this. We want to put it inside this. But not running because we don't have this. Should we, maybe we should be using the real library, right? Or is it, yeah, because it was a modify for the library as well, right? Yeah, totally. On the other hand, like with Steam, it's one click for an API key, yet it shows on the screen if you open the page. Not smart. Yeah, no, hidden by default, I'm 100% on board with. Like, you should have to click reveal for sure. But I just think you should be allowed to click reveal. How they have it is there just is no reveal. But yeah, no, 100% true though. Like, it definitely, nothing sensitive should show on the first screen after you get into something. I do 100% agree with that, especially if you are going to stream. That's like, can be a lifesaver sometimes. But yeah, the visible icon, that should be the way. Even if you had to like go like flip some switch somewhere and type in like, I understand that I am technically making my tokens less secure or whatever, like, I'd be okay with that. Because again, the alternative is like make a new one every time, which comes with its own problems unless you're always killing the old ones. But if you like set up the old one and save it in something, and then like you want that to keep working, but now you want to set up a new one. Like in my situation, my old one is saved inside my old computer somewhere, and if I get back to that computer, hopefully, I want to keep using it in there. But now we have a new one for this one, so now I've got two floating around. Or the other option is like if I had saved it off, then I could copy it from the saved copy, but I just have a copy of it chilling. Feel like they're in a better position to keep it fully secure than I am. But that's how they chose to keep it fully secure, I guess, I suppose. Where did this go? What do we, oh, there we go, okay. Module has no Wi-Fi password, so I think, is this one still looking for secrets, or? Yeah. All right, we gotta pull this over. Which device was I testing on, if not this one? I guess you know what it was? It would have been the one without headers. This one has headers. But for a while there, I was doing a lot of testing on the one without headers that's on my desk. That's all right, we'll power forward with this one. Let's go to settings. Or, no, this one's actually set for secrets. Actually just gonna... Oh. That is not the password, that is the SSID. Doesn't? Pretty sure we just made one. I see. It is like treating them as properties. I do think we probably ought to change that. Okay, but this one actually works the same way, so I guess we'd want to keep them consistent. But truthfully, they're inconsistent with like the rest of the projects, honestly. Are they like that in main? Because most things, they totally are. That is so weird. Most things it will assume there's a dictionary. It will assume that it would assume that you would go like from secrets import secrets, and then secrets would be a dictionary, and you would use square brackets to access these. And of course, honestly, the new way is with the toml file, which is probably what they should really be updated to be, is just use the toml file. But this is like a third way. I've never, I guess I tested it before, so we must have seen it once, but I don't recall seeing it after that. So then really we don't want these to be on our dictionary. Instead, we want, I guess, just variables. Whoops. And since all the examples are that way, I don't think it's worth holding up this particular PR for it. But I do think we should make a new PR where we probably just use the settings toml. Or if we stick with secrets, then at least use the dictionary, which is what I think most projects use. As opposed to these individual variables. There we go, okay. Okay, 102. Do we have different name for, something route 1 param 1 2? I think it should print inside of here. Otherwise it doesn't necessarily prove it worked. One? Yeah, 1.102. Or even if it returned them here, honestly, I think would be nice. That one's not actually working. I wonder if the, actually stopped. Or it was not running because I saved the code probably, but it's still not working. But that's because it has changed to HTTPS. Why did it do that? Yeah. Does it this? I don't know why it changed to HTTPS. Yeah, I don't know. I think we should output these for sure somewhere, either in the response or even as a print inside of here would be okay. I don't know. This one is weird. It's an interesting capability, but this is super weird, right? Because we're basically making two like wildly different API endpoints that point to the same function, which feels super bizarre to me. Like, I think this, like, if I were designing an API, which obviously this PR is not about designing an API, it's about adding functionality to the library, and I grant that. But if we do look at the way the API works, like, would it not, it would, I think, make a lot more sense for this if it was device and then device ID, basically the same here. And then action. So it's like, so far it's all the same. And then the action is this, right? This is just like a hard-coded action for emergency power off. Now we essentially have, like, if this was this one, then we essentially have two URLs that conform to the same API. They're both /device, then the device ID, then action, then the action that they perform. Emergency power off being one possible action. But the way they are here, it makes it seem like /device can either get a device ID next or it can get an action next, which is like, feels very difficult. Like, what if you had a device ID that was a valid string for an action, or vice versa? Then it's like, then you could get in a hairy situation. But again, like, I don't know. Does nitpicking the API make sense for the fake API that's meant to illustrate the functionality? Maybe not. Let me catch up. Chat over here. Yeah, okay, let's say your hard drive crashes where the keys were saved, and now you have to set up OS again. All those GitHub keys are pretty much gone forever. You can't just pick up where you left off. Yeah. Yeah, if you have no way to get them back out of there, if the hard drive is actually like dead, then yeah, you're basically in start over mode, make new keys. But in that case, you can at least, like, you can invalidate the old keys and it's okay, since you don't intend to use them anymore. In my case, though, I'm hoping to get back to using the old one, so I don't want to invalidate it, although I guess I could invalidate it and then just put the new one back in the old computer if I do get back to using it, but yeah. Yeah, well, and even like the order of any of them I don't care about too much. Is like the consistency, I think, is the best part. Like, if device ID is going to be second, then always make device ID second. If device ID was at the end, like if action came first, I'd be fine with that as well. It's just like the two that are together pointing to the same function feel wildly different. Also, like, not formally trained on web applications either, though. So like, I talk about these as an API design, the way I would tweak it to try to make it better, but it's not like I know better really necessarily, right? Everything I know about web apps is kind of self-taught, so I'm sure there's lots of bad habits I have. I'm sure you could go find dozens of API choices that I made that are wonky as heck. So it's not to say that I certainly would do or did do any better than some of the APIs I've designed. Because it does, yeah, it does. In fact, it is action, and it basically just defaults to that. Interesting, okay. So if we go, which one did I say worked for me before? The emergency off? Device. Okay, we'll do that one first. Device ID. Action. Unknown action. Oh, turn on, turn off. Ah, there you go, okay. So we want it either turn on or turn off. It's not actually turning anything on, right? Okay, yeah, just device and then calls this function. Okay. Turn on. Action turn on perform with device ID. Turn off. Off perform with device ID. So then the next one will go device emergency power off device ID. Excuse me? Okay. That was very weird. Let's do a different ID. Action emergency power off performed on device with ID. Nice. Yeah, I don't remember the exact way it was. It's very possible whatever they're talking about there is the exact thing we saw. I don't actually remember for certain. It may be on video somewhere, but I don't think it's that important to necessarily go back and find it for certain, because like the current version is what matters, and the current version looks good to me. Logic is logic. It's all about providing developers using the most efficient use of their time. APIs are like different flavors of ice cream. They're all different. Some are better than others. That's true. YouTube API, awesome. Open weather maps. I have not used YouTube very much. Open weather maps I do enjoy. Twitter I didn't mess with too much. Discord I have looked into, and yeah, I found it to be seemingly kind of very difficult to do anything with Discord. Steam, the only thing I've looked at is your example so far. I guess your good or bad API is just the documentation, honestly, is the key. Like, even a bad API with good documentation is workable, right? A bad API with good documentation still, like, you can make stuff happen. It's not too bad. No matter if your API is amazing, if your documentation sucks, then it's like it's still going to be like pulling teeth, kind of. Yeah, agreed. I have the chat on the screen now. Okay. I don't know about this highlighting thing. So if it's gonna fail sometimes. I didn't get the parenthesis either. Maybe they did it differently, like specifically to show that it can be a totally different one, honestly. The more I think about it, the more that might be the case, actually. Like, because if you did set it up this way, your API would be better, in my opinion, more consistent, which in my opinion makes it better. But the thing is, at that point, you're no longer like showing off the second one, right? Like, if it were set up that way, then the whole second one doesn't matter. You could comment it out. Literally everything would behave the exact same. Mail's here. Yeah. Which is like a sign of a good refactor in an API, I think. Like being able to get rid of a specific endpoint in favor of a more general one is typically a positive thing. In this case, though, I guess it is to show explicitly that these two totally different URLs that are not related at all. I mean, that's probably a stretch. They both have device ID. They're related in some ways, I guess, right? They start with device and stuff like that, but they're jumbled around in such a way where one of them definitely cannot be the other one. And so in order for it to behave the specific way that it does right here, you do actually need both of them. If we were to comment out one of these, it would no longer function the exact same unless we did switch around that second route. That's probably why they did it. In which case, I don't think it's worth mentioning, because actually I do think it's maybe better served as an example of the two URLs being totally different, but still working together. Yeah. Mastodon API is better than Twitter. Not that anyone wants to use. Yeah, I saw something about the cost on the APIs being like absurd to the point where it's just like they might as well just turn it off, basically, right? Like, is anybody actually going to pay for that? Maybe some people will, though. I don't know. Got to make that money back somehow. Try to, at least. We're ready for a different. Yeah. Two, 4, 2, I think we go, because we are backwards compatible, like nothing broke, to the best of my knowledge. but we do have new functionality that you can use if you want. URL parameters, that's probably not the right term to use for the title, is it? Those URL parameters, but they're technically, I mean, technically URL parameters come after the question mark, right? Or are those arguments? Is there a difference between argument and parameter? Let's call it like REST URL parameters, maybe? REST URL parameters? Or path variables? Path parameters? I think that's the way I like it best. Path, because path, like that is the path. That's the part of the URL that we are pulling those values from is considered the path, I believe. Ordinarily, those would be directories that are on some server somewhere, but we have hooked it up to where a program answers instead of a directory, like a hard drive. So the program can like dynamically handle those paths. Like 10 per hour. Good guy, Steam. Yeah. Playing around on Steam Partners API, they had a big section in red warning. You're limited to a certain amount of calls per day. This is like 100K, yeah. We have I use Linode for servers for work and also just some personal servers that do stuff. One of the things that makes me laugh whenever I go log into there is the bandwidth usage. So I would say like the use case I use them for work, we actually do, like I would say we go through a decent chunk of bandwidth personally. Certainly a lot more than any of my personal servers. But you go and you look at like the bandwidth usage for the month and we're always at like 1 or 2% of the cap. And I'm always like, who is serving so much stuff that they are even coming close to scratching the surface of using this up? Like we serve large videos that get downloaded several times by lots of devices. We don't even begin to think about using up the bandwidth in there. I think that's who this was. Is that right? Yeah. Double check. So that's definitely 231. We have set 240, which is definitely higher than 231. Bad things happen if you go lower than the previous one. Unnamed Morrowind providers, they go through a lot. Yeah, it cracks me up whenever I log in there. See the chart. What is this other one? We might as well take a peek while we're here. Infinite loop when requesting too quickly. PicoW could get an infinite loop if we request pages too quickly because we get OS broken pipe from which we can't recover. I made it so that any unexpected errors will be re-raised. Fix this issue 44. I wonder if this is same issue can happen. Server receive header bytes, receive body bytes. Yeah, probably. I'm not familiar with the code in either, but I would assume if they had similar code that they would both be able to fail the same way. Only question I would have, I guess, is like, does it interrupt any other devices? So they say Turning off the fake device. I was like, turning off what now? Are there other? Is it recoverable on other platforms? I guess that would be the main thing I would be concerned with. I think is like, are we fixing what is a stuck situation on the Pico by raising the error, but on another port maybe it's not a stuck situation, and maybe if it didn't raise, maybe it would still work. If that's the case, then I think we want to be careful to maybe not raise unless we have to, if we can. But if it is like permanently broken the same way on all ports under these conditions, then yeah, I think raising the exception is fine, because like it's permanently broken. We might as well tell the developer that it's broken, rather than just letting them find out, because like something is not going to work, right? Like some part of it is going to fail, whether we raise the exception or not. Did we cause merge conflicts by doing the other one? There's so few changes. Yeah, no, there's not. I'm gonna say there's so few changes. I think it's unlikely, right? Okay. That's running. So we technically, we would not be on the version that supports the multi ones, I don't think. So I'm gonna go back to. Do this one. Yeah. In this case, I did not have to push anything, but I will absolutely need to iron out my branches, because yeah, at this point I don't have any Tim forks at all, Moby Guy forks going on yet. Or that's not the right term, I guess, but remotes. All of my repos at this point are cloned straight from Adafruit remote. None of them have Foamy Guy remote attached to them, so before I push anything, I'll need to do that. And I say all of my repos, which at this point, all of my repos are, I think, two. The core and the HTTP server that we cloned a little while ago. So 102/change NeoPixel color. I really want the highlighting to work. Yes, upvote a million times. Is that true? Where's about? That is hilarious. That is amazing. Literally the only text seemingly inside of Firefox anywhere that highlights as you highlight it instead of just when you let go is the version number. Okay, well, I haven't tried that, but mine was like this yesterday, and I rebooted overnight, so... Our Firefox in troubleshoot mode? I don't even know how to do that. Check if one of the extensions, 3-bar menu button tools. Okay, well, the good news is it's not supposed to be that way, so... Can't drag these? You drag it from a different window, you can do it, but... Oh! Excuse me, what? I don't. Okay. I don't understand. Oh! You need to... One more time. You need to go up. There we go. You need to go up and then over. You need to go up and then over. That's dumb. We need this? No. Yeah. So I will say it's definitely not working how it was on the other computer. It's one of my plugins. Very well could be. Very well could be. Hopefully not, but it could be. I think not, because I'm pretty sure it was doing it before I added any of them. But I don't know for certain. Didn't actually do anything. Maybe it doesn't like the slash here. That's weird. It's getting a response, but it's not... The response doesn't contain the data that is supposed to be getting sent back. And also the NeoPixel is not changing. I don't know. Maybe it didn't reset. Maybe it didn't actually reset when I saved the CodePy for some reason. I can select a tab and drag. Okay. You don't have to go up. Interesting. Wonder if those are related, the tab dragging and the highlighting, or if those are totally separate. It did turn the NeoPixel red this time as well. Think too. So Trying to decide if I want to use different colors or not. My finger really wants to type a comma instead of an ampersand. Should we start with less? To go okay with 2. Basically going about as fast as it can. I guess if we took out the print, maybe it could go a little bit faster, but it's okay. I could try to run a separate instance of this if we really wanted to pile on more, but I don't know, not really looking for the limit. Mostly just trying to see if it can handle a decent chunk of requests coming in serially. VS Code anyway. Oh, let me catch up. What's the difference between a remote and a fork? A remote, so everything I could say is prefaced with, like, I don't really have formal Get training, so what you can get from me is the way I think about it, which may or may not be technically correct. So with that caveat understood, in my mind, a fork is the GitHub existence of your copy of the repo. So github.com/Adafruit/CircuitPython. This is Adafruit's fork of CircuitPython, which in this case is a fork of MicroPython's MicroPython. Adafruit has just renamed it CircuitPython and obviously changed a bunch of stuff internally. But so Adafruit CircuitPython is a fork of this, and the fork in my mind exists like inside GitHub, right? GitHub has this project under this account, and that is the fork. Foamy Guy has a fork of CircuitPython, and it is forked from Adafruit CircuitPython, so it's like one more down the chain away. It's not forked directly from MicroPython. Instead, it's forked from Adafruit CircuitPython. So whenever you own a copy of the repo like this, you own a fork, and your fork lives inside GitHub. Remotes, where remotes come in, again, in my mind, where remotes come in are in a local instance of a repo. So not inside GitHub's cloud, but on your local computer. The remote is basically two things. It's a name. In this case, the name is origin, which I'm going to change. Git remote rename origin Adafruit. So it's two things. One of them is a name, and one of them is a URL. And technically, I guess you could say there's actually two URLs rather than just one. One for fetch, one for push, although in my case, I tend to have those always being the same. So the remote is this name and this URL, and specifically having the remote in your local thing here allows you to do things like git fetch and then remote name. So Adafruit, for instance, we can say git fetch Adafruit because we have the Adafruit remote added. What we can't do right now is we can't say git fetch Foamy Guy because Foamy Guy's fork, which exists up in GitHub's cloud, has not been, cloned or whatever, has not been added as a remote inside of my local repository here. So I need to add a remote for Foamy Guy pointing to that fork up in GitHub. Once I've done that, then I'll be able to you know, fetch foamy guy, pull my branches, push my branches, do all that stuff to it within there. That is the way I think of them, the difference between remotes and forks. Maybe it's one of your plugins doing it. Plugins for Firefox. Oh, I guess I did see some of this actually. I just didn't see the part before. Did you already get all the VMs set up for PyCharm? I am trying to use the base Python for now, instead of using VMs for every library and for CircuitPython stuff. So I'm just going with the base install, even though I know it's like you're not supposed to do that or whatever, but I like it better. With VS Code anyway, because my PyCharm still won't run TO terminal just right. Oh, I gotcha. Still waiting on MySys update for WSL. Remote is a local copy of a fork. Yeah, I would say that's true. Yeah, remote is your local repo's link to the fork out on GitHub. I do have a PicoW here, so we'll try it on the PicoW and see if we can recreate the issue and the fix. It's plugged into a different device, or a different cable, I should say. Took a very long time to boot up, I feel like. Interesting. 804. Should we get the latest Pico? I had that reboot bootloader thing inside of here. Which device were we using that on? This one. Oh, you know what it would have been is this other Pico. Or not? Ah, okay, yeah, it was. Glad I decided to refresh. Windows GitHub Desktop has an origin button at the top which fetches the upstream branch that you have selected. In my case, it's request library. I do that first. Would be like fetch, and then change the files I push. Yeah, the GUI has fetch built into a button, I believe. I only used the GitHub Desktop a little bit. I did try it out a little bit, but I haven't used it that much. But I do recall that the fetch, and in this case, PyCharm has a fetch as well. Like, this is not a repo actually, but the HTTP server one here. If we go to it, this blue button here is fetch as well, and it will fetch all of the remotes. So it would fetch Adafruit, and if I had added Foamy Guy before, it would fetch that as well. It would fetch all of them, I think. Could be wrong though. Maybe it only fetches the one that the current branch is. I'm not sure. I think it does all, but I could be wrong. Okay. Now we want to go back to this one. I don't have the overhead camera set back up yet. I'll have to do that at some point. It's much more noob friendly. I would agree with that. Yeah. Honestly, a big part of why I first started using PyCharm was the version control GUI. especially around merges and merge conflicts resolutions. All right, we'll take the updated one of these just so we're actually on the latest thing here. Did it wipe? Huh. Feels like it got wiped maybe, because I literally I had to just paste reboot bootloader onto here, and then we imported it and it ran. So it had to be on the device, but now it's not there anymore. Maybe I finally hit one of those file resets between version whatever and version whatever. I saw that pop up a few times in a few places, and I don't recall ever having actually had the problem with it, but maybe we finally did get it. I don't know. Interesting. Doesn't matter. Whatever was on there, I don't think was important. Interestingly, we do still have this. I guess I may have pasted this before, potentially. We will have to make secret spy, so I gotta scoot over here for that. So we would actually want, I guess, our own HTTP server. Let me do that first, and then we'll do Circup after, and that will get the rest of the stuff, I think. There's an 805, I missed that one before 801. Must have happened. I think it might be newer. I think it might have came after the 8.1 beta, but I'm not sure. It's got backported fixes or something. I haven't looked into the details for it for certain, but... with Black and Pilot is enough of a headache. Yeah. Yeah, conflicts can get crazy. Sometimes, for sure. Let's do auto. No, Circup. Right. That one's pip, is it? Oh, it looks like it's gonna install that anyway? Oh no, there we go, okay. No module socket pool. Did that change? Should we be using this one? It says, in fact, here it says socket pool. It doesn't highlight either. Like hover to show me the link, even though I know it's a link. what was the command? Python Python -m and then pip install. And if your Python is default, you may have to do Python 3. I aliased mine so that I can just do Python instead of Python 3. If you have Python 2, most likely this will call into Python 2. I do not have Python 2 anymore. I only have 3, but I aliased it so that Python with no number goes to 3. And then -m is like run a command instead of a file. I don't know what the technical term is for it, but basically, like ordinarily you would go Python space file name and it would execute that file. You go Python -m and instead of executing a file, it's executing a command. And the commands are like built into libraries somehow, and pip is distributed that way now, so you can go -m pip install. Yep. I think there's other things you can do with -m, like Python -m http.server. This will load up a basic web server at the directory where you're at, which in my case is device workspace, which is here. So like we could now access these files from the browser if we wanted to by going to my IP address / whatever file we want. I don't know if there's an easy way to find a list of like all the -m things that are available. In fact, I think pip and that one are the only two that I know. I'm sure there must be more. So yeah, I think we are gonna be going back to 805, I guess. Is it gonna wipe my thing again? Main py already exists. Okay, but I didn't copy main py, so I'm not entirely certain why that's relevant. Awesome. All right, well, be changing the Wi-Fi password, I guess. That was pretty stupid. I don't know why I did that. This time it kept all its stuff. This says no module socket pool. Did I take the... Yeah. I think we'll just let that one pass without further acknowledgement. But I think we all know what's up. Whoopsie doodles. Python is being installed legacy setup py method used as an py project. Tektrick knows about this. I'm less clear on exactly. From what I understand, setup py is an old way to distribute through pip, and pyproject.toml is the new way. Probably we just need to move circup over to the new way, it sounds like. Which I don't think is super duper involved. It contains a lot of the same details. It's just like a different formatting and syntax and stuff, I believe. A lot of the other libraries and stuff are done. Circup is kind of a separate infrastructure thing that's not necessarily part of the bundle or some of the other stuff, so it doesn't get done in like huge sweeps. Sometimes it gets left behind a little bit since it's not like part of the bundle, since its job more or less is to get stuff out of the bundle for you. It wouldn't make sense to add it into there. Install adapters, yeah, all this, yeah, basically all the stuff Circuit needs, it will install that stuff for you. Yep. Where are we at here? Okay. Done running. Okay, it did reset again, but dude, I am so confused. It deleted settings pie. Okay, deleted settings pie, it's gone. But it left reboot bootloader, and it changed CodePy. CodePy did not have this in it a second ago. It had the NeoPixel test. So it changed CodePy, and it deleted SecretsPy, but it kept other stuff the same. But it also got rid of a bunch of libraries. Weird. That is weird. So weird. Repartition, but that's not... I would have expected all or none, right? Like, if it repartitioned it, then it wiped everything and it starts fresh. If it wiped everything and it starts fresh, how did this survive? So it's like, kind of, I guess, maybe, but somehow some stuff survived. I have a sneaky suspicion. No, this is just old, I think. Okay. Be a bit smarter about this one this time, at least. Do that. I don't know, that's weird. I would have expected it to delete everything if it was going to do the partition stuff. Which it seemed like it did do that a minute ago on one of the ones we did, but I don't know. We also took a detour through Pico normal instead of Pico W land for a minute, so Lord only knows like what that could have done to it. Okay, we actually have Pico W, so we want the NeoPixel back. This one. It doesn't have a NeoPixel on it though. This is not going to work anyway, right? It doesn't have a NeoPixel. Yeah, that was silly. I don't know why I chose to test with that one. Just get this, I guess. So they made the default CodePy different. Interesting. This device has the IP address in the default CodePy, which most devices just have that print hello world. Pretty interesting. I'd like to figure out where in the core it does that. I'm curious to try to basically make it copy over specific stuff when it does that. Be cool if you could load your own CodePy in there, I think. If you were like using it in a more fully completed project, I don't like in a general sense that wouldn't be that useful, but if you're setting up 100 microcontrollers for use in a specific project and they're all 100 going to do the same thing or whatever, it might be nice to have a custom build that would load your CodePy instead of the blank one. Yeah. This to yourself. Where do we end up back on this one again? Okay. 19/CPU information. Still unclear if it, yeah, okay, apparently I just became pretty clear. I was gonna say I'm still unclear on if it wants that or not, but it's like, no. I guess it probably just needs to match, right? If you had it in here, maybe it would work. We should probably be using the stock library first, maybe? Be interesting if you could omit Adafruit and have it still try to find one with the name. It'd be nice if you could shorten it and just say circup install HTTP server, and it would know that you're talking about Adafruit HTTP server. Even though like community bundle is in there as well, which means there are other prefix names, but like it'd be nice if it would check in the absence of a name. Just try Adafruit, see if it's there. If so, then that's probably the one they're talking about. Okay, 219. We have this, which will only run twice to start with. Both succeeded. However, we did print a function rather than anything useful, apparently. Seems to be going fine on this end. It doesn't really print or do anything on this side. It just returns. So I guess we just pick that up some, maybe. Actually seems handling it pretty well. Honestly, that's surprisingly fast. Me, at least, I would not have expected him to be that fast. Doesn't seem like it's gonna mess up. I don't know. It's slower this time. The only thing I could think to do at this point would be like trying threads and stuff, or like trying to run multiple instances of this, like maybe the problem is could have you again an infinite loop when we request pages too quickly. Maybe my page needs more stuff on it. Okay, we'll take their code. GIF didn't load for some reason. Yeah, I don't know why it didn't. Didn't one box it, I'm not sure why. My best guess is the URL. Somehow it didn't know it was a GIF for some reason, but I don't know why it wouldn't have known, right? It was in the URL still. I use circuit from the moo REPL. I don't think so. Moo REPL is like inside of TO already. It doesn't use TO, so it's not technically inside TO, but like like here, this is the best way I know how to illustrate the difference. Like this terminal right here, this is inside of TO already, which means that anything I type into here goes to the device. And if I press Control C, then we break out and we go to the REPL. And now anything I type here goes to the device. If I press Control D, now we're running the code, but still anything I type here would technically be getting sent to the device. This CodePy is not reading it, so it's just getting ignored, everything except Control C to break out. But technically, if I were to type here, we're sending it back in directly to the device. So we're only communicating directly back and forth with the device, not with our computer anymore inside of this terminal. And that is how Mu works as well. The serial that's in there, anything you type is always between you and the microcontroller. None of it is between you and your system, to the best of my knowledge. And so you need another terminal. You need a system terminal. In the case of PyCharm, I can bounce over to a new tab here, and then I'm no longer inside TO. I'm actually at a terminal on my real computer, and that's where I can do the circup commands. Disco tool, I'm unsure how that one interacts with Mu. I would assume that it works like circup, where you need a separate terminal. You need like a system terminal rather than one that is like hard-coded directly to always be the connection to the CircuitPython device. But I don't know for certain. I'm sleep. I mean, it could be, but the library, still should give as best of an error as it can in that situation as well. Like, in this case, yes, if it is because it's too fast, we could sleep, and that would theoretically fix it. But if the library can be improved still, then I do think is worth it. This is actually swapped over to using getenv, which is the settings toml. And my values are named a little bit differently than I have to at least use VS Code to use Circuit because my PC doesn't like PyCharm. You should, like, if you're trying to use Mu in addition, I assume that's what you mean. If you should be able to get an outside terminal as well. If you're on Windows, like just a command line prompt, or if you're on Linux, a terminal, or Mac, I don't know what they call it, but there should be a terminal in there as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be one inside of PyCharm. Like, I use the ones in here because they're convenient. I'm already in here and using it for everything. But if you use Mu as your IDE, you should be able to have a separate, just outside terminal that is just a terminal by itself. It doesn't need to be a fully featured IDE like VS Code or anything, although I can imagine VS Code being similar to PyCharm. I haven't actually used it that much, but I can imagine it having a lot of convenient things, kind of like PyCharm does here, where it's got terminals built in, but it's also got access to all your files and libraries and syntax highlighting and code hints and all kinds of stuff that maybe Mu is not necessarily having as much of. Code completions and things like that. Bootstrap. Good old Bootstrap. Alright, do they say which one they're requesting though? Because it says pull done mute row 84. Doesn't really. Pulling, pull done, while true. Doesn't really say. I guess we'll just do /mute. No. It's still returning with index, so I guess we'll just go to index, and then index has a mute button on it, it sounds like. Maybe we need the slash. Slash socket. I That printed this. But I did not see an index file. Or, I mean, I guess, no, it doesn't have anything in it. Wonder if we made it back in time to reuse the same stream or not. Yeah, I think we did, because the YouTube chat is still set. I didn't see the link before, so not 100% sure if it stayed the same. Hopefully it did, though. My syswindow issue with TO. Gotcha. I don't know what that was. I saw something on my system bar change out of my periphery. I was like, what was that? Something is gone now. And then I was like, oh, OBS is the thing that's gone. Awesome. Yeah, OBS just crashed on us. Luckily, we're back up now. That does happen sometimes, albeit it was somewhat rare on the old computer. Hopefully it's not going to become common on this one. I've had that happen before, though, too. I don't know why we're not getting index on this in the browser. Maybe we're already in the broken state? Like polling here. It's interesting, the polling, mine is printing so many zeros, but the ones in the thing here were much smaller numbers. Oh, no, they're not. Okay, I was thinking these. I see. I was just looking at the wrong thing. Fair enough. I don't get it. That worked fine. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with that in-between state, but we made it. Terminal, so we're all good here. So basically we're saying if we fetch this too fast, we can get to the infinite loop, presumably. Maybe don't need the printing. I'm pretty sure it didn't do 10, did it? Maybe it did. Maybe they just went really fast. It looks like it did, actually. We got 4, 5, and then 10. That did go all right. Isn't there like split? How do I... They don't show their version of CircuitPython anywhere that I can see. It looks like mute, though, actually. So maybe we should be doing the mute request. Technically, that changes us over to /mute. It's pretty good, truthfully. do you click? That works, but as soon as you click it the first time, it loads the next one. So it's like, I was gonna try to put it in a for loop, but I don't think it's gonna. I think it's actually gonna work because after it clicks the first time, it's gonna load. Use circuit from command line prompt, like command stuff. It's like installed, but no idea how to use it. Python circuit. Oh yeah, no circuit. Circuit -- help when in doubt will tell you if it's installed or not. But yeah. Circuit install, and then you can do library name or -- auto, and it will just look in the file and install everything it needs. Oh, I did spam it, and we got to a point where this is just spinning, so maybe we made it. Yeah. Yeah, now we have no more polling. But yeah, now we're stuck. Okay. So spam the button is how I did it. So theoretically, with the new version from the PR, this will raise the exception. This is out of date, though, because it doesn't even show the library. We're going to delete that. We're going to take the modified one from here, which is the PR one. I'm going to put that in there. Go back and spam the button again. Probably wrap it up after this, I think. Get some lunch, probably make a new coffee, put in my notes for the meeting. Bunch of the stuff I typed a while ago. That's interesting. And then I think the plan will be to come back in the afternoon and work on some of the dual screen stuff. That's something I want to get into today as well, so that we can do some Sea Lion core level development and iterations and things, just to make sure everything is all set up on that front. And fingers crossed, hopefully not have any issues with it. That would be ideal. So I think I'll be back later today to work on that stuff, but it'll be after the meeting when we get into the multi-display stuff. Be back on there, right? We should be able to just run this now, right? Yeah. I don't know, I was expecting the Python script to make it work with like, oh, here's another thing I can't do is pull this window. Usually if you would pull this window, it would... There's no extra tab also. Firefox on the old computer had like a grabby thing over there. Ooh, I don't like how... This has to be broken, right? There's no way this is plan A. I don't like how it's just... Well... Yeah, you can't even, like, make a new tab. It's not showing all your stuff. Also, the arrows are not... What kind of messed up? Oh, here's this. But it doesn't work. Yeah, we're totally jacked on the Firefox, aren't we? That's annoying. Just can't move it anywhere. Move it if I do this. None of the resizers are there. I don't want my Firefox to be messed up. Okay, that's another thing I'm going to do before the meeting is reboot. Hopefully this stuff is going to be all right afterwards. I don't know how to use that. Didn't even work. I don't know how to use this. I don't think I've ever resized anything with this. Arrow keys or... I can move it. I can't get to the tab that I need because it's like over here somewhere and I can't scroll. That's beautiful. Spammeroni. It was actually pretty resilient last time, honestly. I had to spam it quite a bit. We did eventually get it to lock up, but... it's pretty good this time around, truthfully. It would show me the error, wouldn't it? Maybe does something else consume it? Dang. Let's run this and spam the browser at the same time. Yeah. Oh, double click worked. Interesting. It's only when it's maximized it doesn't have the handle grip thingy. Should it be raise EX? Or does that happen automatically? Or do they chain? Will this raise cause this accept block to happen? I don't actually know. Raise re-raises. Okay, the same one you already have. Okay. That's good. Yeah, thank you. What path would path directory be? My CircuitPython device. I don't have a separate entire CircuitPython install other than some of the repos in GitHub. Not sure I understand. What path? What would dash dash path directory be? Oh, dash dash path. I think that is so you can install it like on not a device, or if your device has a non-standard drive name, like if it wasn't called CircuitPy. I think path allows you to choose it. Or you could also have it just download to like a folder on your computer, maybe, instead of an actual device, if you're just trying to like get a certain library for some reason. I have that handle grip on the side. Maybe Windows is different. Yeah, I do think Windows is different. Even this computer had Windows on it for a minute yesterday. Well, there's still a hard drive around here somewhere with Windows in it, but I don't think I had that same trouble on the Windows side. Because you don't have the file menu at the top. That could be, is that... oh, nope, that was not it. Is it F12 these days? No, obviously not F12. I don't know how to do that one. Is it just Alt? Things are Alt. But then if I click it, it goes away. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know how do we... I don't have any particularly clever ideas for... oh, I saw one in there. Ebatif. That's not one of them, is it? I was saying like OS error 31 or something. Honestly, I'm pretty impressed by how well it's handling the click spam. I don't know. We saw that one error. It's unclear to me if that error, I don't think it's the same one that this was intended to fix, so I don't think what we saw was actually this fix working, but maybe it was. Broken pipe, it says. And we do still have that small timeout or whatever, is that? Let's say, yeah, socket timeout, quarter second. No. How can you go to next tab? Oh shoot, an Easter egg in the search. Pac-Man STO. Pac-Man. It was not. I did test full screen mode for a second, but it was not in there originally. Oh, an Easter egg in the search. Why is Foamy Guy so something? So awesome. Nice. Thank you. Next tab is Control tab. And page down. Jesus. Tab page down. I'm never gonna remember that. Control tab page up. Control tab page down and up. Okay, we'll try. Does it matter that we're not getting polling in between each? Like, I was going so fast that it's handling multiples inside of the same poll, I guess? I don't know. It seems pretty resilient. Control tab. Let's go forwards. Let's go forwards. Okay, so control tab. So you don't really need the page down one then. But if control tab, let's see. Okay, I'll leave a comment on this one. I mean, it seems fine to me as far as the actual code. Looks like it would do what it's supposed to do. I don't think we did actually, like, run into the specific fix again. But I don't know. By default, all browsers today have menu bar turned off. Yeah, I agree. I think I like the menu bar to stay on. I don't know why they turn that. I mean, it takes up space, I guess, is probably why, but yeah, I don't know why they do that. It's almost anti-productive. Got a lot of it hidden into here, but not everything, not all the exact same stuff. And it's also weird because this is on the right side. I don't know. I don't feel like we changed from right to left at some point. I've gotten used to it, but it was awkward for a while. All right. I'm going to head out for now, get some lunch. Thanks for hanging out, folks. I appreciate you sticking with me through some of the technical difficulties we had today with stream crashing and obviously over the weekend where I didn't manage to make it back to stream. But I'm happy that we got the backup environment up and running now. I'm feeling a lot better about both CircuitPython and my other job because I need my computer to work. So having a backup is really good. Thanks for hanging out. I will, like I said, after the CircuitPython weekly meeting later on this afternoon, I think I will plan on coming back. I'll pop the stream back on. It'll be different links and stuff like that. So you'll have to look back in the Discord or follow me on Twitch or something. You can get the notification for that. Because it will be under a different stream, but I'll come back and we'll play with some multi-display stuff, see if we can get into what I was starting to try to on the last stream before my computer crapped out on me. So that'll be for later on today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all later.